the request to immediately take jurisdiction and control of placement of the child subject to this petition. The court reviewed the petition and did sign an emergency removal order based on the circumstances alleged in the petition. We are here at this moment for a preliminary hearing on that order. May I have the names of our participants, please?
Lee Heist, lawyer, guardian ad litem.
Cameron Cusick.
One moment. Nastasia Thomas, counsel for the department. Go ahead, Cameron.
Cameron Cusick, CPS investigator for the department.
Michael McFarland, representing mother, Carla Collier, who is present by audio only. Ms. Collier, please introduce yourself to the court.
Hello, Your Honor. I am Carla Collier. I am Uta's mother.
All right, Ms. Collier, I have a number of preliminary things that I need to run through with you pursuant to MCR 3.965. You've had a chance to talk with your attorney today, is that right?
For a few moments, Your Honor.
Very good. Do you have a copy of the petition and the removal order?
Yes, Your Honor.
I understand that you or your child may be a member of a Native American tribe or band. Could you tell me about that, please?
My daughter is a quarter Alaskan Native, Your Honor.
All right. Is there a specific tribe associated with that heritage?
I think it's Inuit. It's Alaskan Native.
All right. Are you or your child currently enrolled in a tribe?
No, Your Honor. We're working to get her enrolled.
All right. Do you know who you were working with?
I was working with a family person that I consider to be family, but me and my daughter have known since she was born.
Was there an official member of the tribe or an eligibility office or anybody else affiliated with the tribe that you were working with?
I don't have those details at the moment because I'm currently using my only working phone to be here, and that would be in my notes, and I'm not able to. I can get that to my attorney at a later date, Your Honor.
All right, very good. Yes, because if there is eligibility for your child that could offer additional services and trigger potentially another caseworker to be involved to support you and your family throughout this process. So please make sure you get any and all information to the caseworker as soon as possible.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you aware? Okay, so I should tell you this. You've got, I have a petition, right? And there is, it would appear to be a case, at least establishing paternity. Is that the only other case that affects your child, or are there any other cases open that you're aware of?
That is the only case that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
Right. So you have the right to an attorney at this hearing as well as any subsequent hearings, and that's why Mr. McFarland has been requested to join us today. If you ever choose to retain your own attorney, that's perfectly fine. That attorney will just have to reach out to Mr. McFarland and secure a substitution and all of the relevant documents.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the right at this hearing to seek placement of your child, and the right to admit or deny the allegations and make a statement of explanation to the contents of the petition. You also have the right to have the petition read aloud on the record, unless you waive it. You have that right. Would you like me to read the petition onto the record?
Yes, Your Honor.
For the record, I'm just going to say, just for the record, I have it and I don't need it read unless you need that read.
No, I don't need it read. I just wasn't sure if anyone else didn't have it or whatnot.
Not a problem. I'll agree with her, Your Honor. We don't need it read.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Heist, do you have a copy?
I do, thank you.
Very good. I know Mr. McFarland does, and Ms. Thomas was generated from her office, so we know she's got a copy. All right, as it relates to the removal and the request, I would like to hear the presentation that you might have on that, Ms. Thomas.
Your Honor, if I might, just preliminarily, I have a jury demand request. If I can submit that to the court, to the bailiff. sir.
So we'll take it, yeah, you wish to effectively formally deny the allegations at
That
this
is
time?
accurate, Your Honor.
Put that up there. Okay, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you. And if Mr. Cusick could be sworn in, please. Thank you. Mr. Cusick, how are you familiar with this matter?
I'm involved in a CPS investigation with the family.
And as the investigator, how did you learn about the allegations that you put into the petition that you drafted?
Staff from Catherine Cobb Shelter, domestic violence shelter, informed me of allegations, and I called a separate intake to report the allegations.
And did you have an opportunity to interview or work with Ms. Collier?
Yes, I did.
And did you have an opportunity to speak with anyone else that may be related to the child?
I did not have a chance to speak with anybody else related to the child.
Okay. And during the investigation process, did anyone from the department make contact with the named non-respondent father or anyone in the paternal family?
Yes, someone from the department did have contact with the non-respondent father and talked to him about custody.
And to the best of your knowledge, has a custody order been presented to you or to the department?
No, it has not. We have the document that establishes paternity. However, we did not receive a custody order at this time.
In your petition, there are several allegations that allege the child is essentially at a substantial risk of harm and an imminent risk of harm. Can you please state what the risk of harm is to the child and how you became aware of the facts leading to the risk?
The child, I believe, is at risk for physical neglect, as Carla has lived in, from what I learned when I looked at past CPS history and in a single state, that Carla has lived in several states in the past 4 years. I believe that was 10 or 15 states. So we had concern that Carla being in so many places with her daughter could be a definite risk for neglect. There was a case that was substantiated in Washington State, where Carla previously lost custody of Uta for 6 months due to a neglect allegation where she did not have her child's medication on hand. And currently when Carla was staying at the shelter with Uta, there were various complaints from staff that Carla was not cooperative at the shelter, and that her handling Uta's behaviors was disruptive to other residents and made other residents uncomfortable based on the way that she was not cooperating with the staff at the shelter and how to handle Uta's behaviors. And lastly, the possibilities of where Carla will go next, we're unsure that can guarantee the child's safety or have a reasonable risk, could cause a reasonable risk depending on where she goes next, as she is no longer in the shelter and she was asked to leave with her child Uta and does not have a place to stay currently.
The behaviors that the staff at the shelter had indicated to the department, do you believe that those constituted either physically or emotionally, psychologically harmful behaviors towards Uta?
I believe they did cause emotionally harmful behaviors to Uta, yes.
What can you just briefly elaborate what some of those behaviors were?
Yelling at Uta in front of other residents of the shelter, telling Uta that the staff were bad and they were going to take her away. These sorts of things that would cause staff members to not trust Carla and vice versa. I know there had been several attempts with staff to accommodate Carla and help her handle her daughter. However, Carla, which I was told repeatedly by more than one or two shelter staff, various shelter staff, that Carla was not cooperative and was not trying to implement these suggestions that the shelter staff had told her.
And was there any indication that the mother was physically inappropriate with the child?
There wasn't substantial indication that the mother was physically inappropriate with the child.
I did not hear if that was a was or was not.
There was not.
Thank you.
Okay. And in your opinion, you stated that those are the reasons you believe that the child is at a substantial risk of harm?
Yes, in my opinion. And there is, like I was discussing before, uncertainty. I know Carla speaks about a family friend that she trusts in Canada. And I have been in contact with this person. I believe that Carla is getting advice and messages as to how to care for Uta that are misleading from this person. In fact, this person, which we have record on Facebook Messenger, told Carla that she could come pick Uta up at the Detroit Metro Airport and take her back with her so that she can enroll Carla in services where she was living in Canada, and she claimed that she was a social worker there.
And were you provided any proof of documentation that this individual, in fact, had secured actual travel documents or identifying documents or service enrollment documents or anything of that sort?
We have no proof that she obtained identity documents for Uta. I know this person had claimed that she was obtaining those. And as far as travel documents, there was a screenshot of flight information. However, it was just the pricing on the flight. So I don't know if those were actually booked flights that she was going to come down here and fly to the Metro Airport and bring her back to Canada.
What active efforts did the department make to prevent the request for removal?
I made several visits to the Catherine Cox shelter while Carla was staying there. I was able to make several referrals for Carla, two of them involving Orchard's Families First Children's Services, Families First, which works with Carla and Uta while they're at the shelter. Also, community mental health was referred for Carla so that Carla and Uta could engage in family therapy. And even after those were set up, I still got complaints from staff saying that there was no improvement in Carla's overall demeanor and behavior and how she handled her child, Uta. There was also a safety plan involved where I told Carla while she was at the shelter that she agreed to in writing on the Facebook Messenger chat that she would talk to staff that she trusted so that there wouldn't be any personality clashes with staff when handling Uta, and also handling Uta in a private place so that this wouldn't disturb other residents of the shelter. So that safety plan was established, and those are the main active efforts that we had. We also had made contact and sent via email to see if there was any eligibility for Native American, Native Indian. We emailed Native Village of Buckland. They stated, and I actually called them on the phone, so that they would have access to this meeting today.
Thank you for that. And as it relates to the non-respondent father, were efforts made to locate him or anyone in his family that may be able and appropriate to have custody of the child?
Yes, we were able to contact Sean Thomas. I did not speak to him personally. However, somebody else from my department spoke with him. He said he would be able to care for Uta, the child. He would be able to come down here and pick her up. We also spoke with Mr. Thomas's mother. I believe her name was Lily Thomas, who stated that she was a part of the Buckland tribe in Alaska. However, she was not enrolled, and that's why we were looking for further, see if there was any possibility that she could be enrolled with the tribe there.
And is there a reason that Mr. Thomas, that you're aware of, has not come to get Uta yet?
I just think it hasn't been enough time. He stated he would be able to come pick her up. We would just have to go through all of our options before that, and then he would be able to come pick her up via plane. So.
And does he have a custody order? And I believe your testimony before was that you hadn't been presented with a custody order. Do you know if he is in possession of one?
He stated he does have a custody order, and we're currently trying to receive that or obtain it. However, we've not obtained it yet. What I have right now is the document that establishes paternity for Sean Thomas.
And has there been a courtesy home visit to his residence to just confirm that it would be appropriate for the child?
Not yet. However, I emailed Washington State, the local county CPS supervisor there, and she said that they would be able to make a home check on Mr. Thomas's home next Wednesday was the soonest that they'd be able to do it.
And as it relates to additional active efforts, how has Ms. Collier paid for the motel that she's currently staying in?
This was paid for by the department after Ms. Collier was asked to exit the Catherine Cobb shelter. The department agreed that they would temporarily fund for Carla and her daughter Uta to stay at the hotel, local hotel here in Adrian.
And currently the placement recommendation is licensed foster care until there's further order of the court or proof of a custody order. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And are you currently asking the court to continue authorization of this petition and continued removal of the child?
Yes, I'm asking the court for to authorize this petition and continue the plan for removal of the child.
Thank you. And I know that this might be outside your purview, but what would the recommendation for parenting time be?
Supervised visitation at the department's discretion.
And to the best of your knowledge, is Families First still providing any services?
I'm unsure if Families First is still providing the services. From what I understand, after we spoke with Carla, that Families First would cease services after that, after the child was placed somewhere else, but I'm unsure at this moment if they're currently engaging in services still.
Thank you. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination?
I'll be brief. When was my client asked to leave the shelter?
She was asked to leave the shelter We announced it to her Tuesday morning on the 29th.
And you're still paying for her and her daughter to live in a hotel, correct?
We are not. We stopped paying on as of today. Currently, as far as I understand, Families First is funding it for the next few days.
Okay, so she's not homeless, correct?
Not as of yet, no.
Right, so this petition isn't because of what happened in Washington, because you've known that for a while, correct? About the prior case.
Correct. We've known it for
That's not the emergency, correct?
correct.
And the emergency isn't because she's in a hotel, correct?
Correct.
You're claiming the emergency is, as you are alleging, that she wants an individual to take possession of this child who's a foreign resident who lives in Canada. Is that correct? I'm paraphrasing.
Yes, that's one of the emergencies.
Well, that is the principal emergency, correct?
And concerned that where she may go and where she has been, yes.
Okay. Has my client indicated that she's going to go, that when you say she, who's she?
Carla.
And she told you she's going to go someplace?
No, she does not know where she's going to go, as far as I understand.
Okay. And as far as father, are you aware that he's not had contact with his child in a lengthy period of time? Are you aware of that?
Yes, I'm aware it's been over a year since he's had contact.
Are you aware that he does have the contact information for mother and has made no attempt to reach out to her? Are you aware of that?
That I'm not aware of. Carla has not told me that he's had her contact information.
Have you asked Carla if he's ever had any assaultive behavior against her? Have you asked her that?
She has told me he's had assaultive behavior.
And have you asked her about if he has any, let's say, alcohol problems and gets violent with alcohol? Has she told you about that?
No, she has not told me about that.
Are you going to be questioning her about her thoughts about her father picking up the child with any possible risk that might present?
We're going to be questioning the father and doing background checks on him.
He could deny this. Are you going to talk to my client about and then explore what she might reveal to you?
If that's what the investigation warrants, yes, I would be talking to Carla.
We would like you to do that, just so you know. Okay.
Okay.
And as far as my client, let me rephrase. My client indicates that she wanted a local church member to be explored for possible placement of this child so she could delegate her parental rights. And she was informed that that person would not be evaluated. Are you familiar with that?
I am familiar with a local church member that she had contact with, yes.
What would have been wrong with her delegating her parental rights to that church member?
We were informed by the Catherine Cobb shelter that somebody from the church, I don't know if it was that member, wanted to file a complaint on Carla to the shelter or to CPS.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Did you observe any concerning behavior when you removed the child?
Yes, when we removed the child today, Carla stated that CPS was going to kidnap. She was telling her child, Uta, that CPS was going to kidnap her. She said this several times. I believe this made Uta escalate in her behavior a little more when this happened.
You have had services, including Catherine Cobb, you've had Orchards Family Services, CMH. All those services were not able to successfully avoid asking for jurisdiction?
Yes, that's correct.
And how long about have you been involved with this family?
I've been involved with this family since early June on 3 separate investigations.
So when I look at your pleadings, it looks like there is a family friend who is outside of the United States. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And judging by the conversations, there's some kind of a, this person is inducing the child to come. There's talk of kittens and new clothes and new shoes. Is that true?
Yes.
That person was is indicating that she's doing a home study and has health insurance, citizenship, daycare, all those kinds of things organized in Canada. Is that true?
Yes, that's right.
So then, does the story match up between the person in Canada and the mother about when they met or how they know each other?
The mother, I believe, stated that she met Carla when she was 16. I may be wrong on that. And that they met in the state of Washington, and they became friends because she liked her.
So they call each other, Carla calls this person mom, but there is no biological connection?
No, not that I know of, no biological connection.
Will you repeat for me the part about mother was planning to turn the child over at Metro Airport, and then there was going to be a schedule problem and the child was supposed to be left by herself or something? Would you tell me that part again?
So the friend in Canada, and she texted us on Messenger stating she could come and pick up the child from the airport through a guardianship program at the airport and bring the child back with her to Canada so she could provide this child all of these various social services. And she stated this, like I said, on Facebook Messenger, and stated this to Carla.
So initially mom was planning to travel with the child up to this friend in Canada, and then something changed where now mom was just going to turn the child over at the airport?
Yes, something changed.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Okay, could you repeat for me what's happening with the child's father and what the circumstances are there? Are you expecting him to come and retrieve the child?
Yes, at a to be determined time, we're expecting him, as he stated, he would be able to come via plane flight to retrieve the child. We're still working on obtaining the custody information for this person. However, he is the legal father, and we have those documents for that. And he was interviewed personally, I believe, on more than one occasion by somebody else from the department.
All right, redirect Ms. Thomas.
Regarding the concerns that Ms. Collier has of Mr. Thomas, has she provided any proof, like any police reports, or have you been able to look into that, like any police reports, protective orders, anything?
She has not provided any proof. She told me that he was abusive and that she was afraid of him. However, she has not provided any proof of that.
And generally speaking, has she been able to give you any good information about dates, times, places she's been, any details of her life that are significant?
No, I believe she's given me various dates that have changed. As far as the history of everything that's happened, she'll tell me something that happened on a certain time, and then I will notice when she brings it up a second time on a different occasion, she'll state that it happened on a separate date.
And is there anything else you think the court needs to know in order to make an informed decision regarding the relief requested?
No, there's nothing else I can think of.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Any requests?
Just very briefly, you think this individual in Canada is trying to dupe my client, trick her into getting the child? Is that the gist of it?
Well, I'm not sure. There's always that possibility that she could be trying to do that. We have no proof of who she is.
Have you've been in contact with this person, correct?
I have been in contact with her, yes.
Did you request proof of who she is?
She usually is not able, she hasn't provided me any proof.
My question is, did
yeah.
you request that of her?
No, I did not request it.
Okay. Did you request any documentation or proof about this guardianship program that she mentioned?
We didn't request information about that from her personally.
Okay. So a lot of this sounds like speculation because you've not asked her specifically about these things, correct?
It could be speculation, yes.
So did you tell my client about any of your speculative concerns after you were concerned?
I felt that this client was so dead set on doing this that whatever we said, she would not agree with it.
So is that a no, you did not tell her about your concerns?
No, I did not.
Although you're not able to substantiate your concerns because you didn't explore that, correct?
That's correct.
Nothing further.
Any other recross besides?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Other witnesses, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland?
I'd like a brief breakup with my client, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll take a recess and allow that. We have someone under tribal administrator. We're waiting. It's time to talk with, who we now know is Frederica Gavin, our tribal administrator participant. Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. When we reconvened, Ms. Darlene Wellsford had joined us. I will join the LJL in requesting how this individual is related to anyone involved in this matter.
She claimed when she was introducing herself to be the grandmother. Mr. Thomas, are you familiar with this person?
I am not familiar with this person.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and put her then in the waiting room. All
Can I
right,
ask my client if that might be her grandmother?
sure, go ahead.
Ma'am, do you know if this individual is related to you? Do you recognize her?
She is, we're working on a legal adoption so she can legally adopt me. She is someone I've known since I was 15 and she is family. She has been in my daughter's life since she was born.
Okay, but she's not biological, correct?
Not biological.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Yes, thank you. That would take her out of the arena for purposes of participation today. So she will remain in the waiting room. We obviously are on YouTube, so if she wishes to observe that, she's welcome to do it that way. Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe that given Ms. Gavin's joining our hearing today, that I would like to just get some testimony regarding the active efforts and any opinion that the tribe may have on that point.
Ms. Thomas.
Ms. Gavin, can you please inform the court of your role as a tribal, let me backtrack that one moment. Ms. Gavin, what tribe do you belong to?
The native village of Buckland.
And your,
Right, sorry, yeah, that didn't come through on our end at all. Could you repeat that, please?
Native village of Buckland.
All right, how do you spell that?
Buckland.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Thomas.
thank you. And what is your role within the tribe?
I am the tribal administrator.
And what are some of the qualifications that you have to fulfill that position as a tribal administrator?
I am the supervisor for all the departments within the native village of Buckland. I oversee the ICWA coordinator, who is currently on leave right now. I also act in her place when she is on leave.
You also, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? It might help if you get a little closer to your computer. It's hard in the courtroom, I can't hear as well as I think some of our other Zoom participants can.
I'm the tribal administrator for the native village of Buckland, and I oversee all departments within the tribe. And I also stand in for the ICWA coordinator when she is on leave, and she is on leave right now.
Thank you.
Ms. Gavin, are you considered a qualified expert witness when it comes to the to the I don't know what is the best way of wording this. Are you considered someone of the tribe who is recognized as knowledgeable in tribal customs and how they pertain to the family organization and child rearing practices?
I am.
And can you just briefly elaborate how you are qualified in that regard?
I am. I resided in this village for the past 40 years, and I haven't been employed for the native village of Buckland for the last 5 years. And I also was a foster parent for the last 32 years.
And have you testified in the past as a qualified expert witness in court proceedings?
I have only testified in one case before.
Do you believe that you have the necessary knowledge, skill, experience, training, or education to speak about the tribe, its customs, and how they pertain to the family organization and child rearing practices?
I believe I do.
In your role as the tribal administrator, are there any special trainings that you attend or any continuing education that you have to maintain?
The only training that I received was with the ICWA coordinator.
Thank you. Your Honor, I would ask that Ms. Gavin be considered the qualified expert witness for the native village of Buckwood, which has indicated the child in this matter is eligible for membership in that tribe.
Objections?
I have no objection.
One more to your question.
Go ahead.
Did I understand you, ma'am, that you have the same training as your ICWA coordinator?
Yes.
I take no position, Your Honor.
All right. I will consider her an expert for purposes of our qualified expert witness testimony for today. Thank you.
Thank you. When were you provided notice of this hearing?
Excuse me?
When were you provided notice of this hearing?
I received a phone call right before I logged in.
Okay. And are you aware if the tribe received any other documentation inquiring about the child's eligibility for membership prior to today?
I received a phone call yesterday asking the requirements for tribal membership, and I explained to the social worker that called that as long as there is lineage and the child, an application is received with a birth certificate and social security, that she's eligible to be enrolled.
And do your records indicate that she's eligible?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to review the petition in order for removal?
Briefly.
And were you able to locate in the portion of the petition where active efforts were indicated?
Yes.
Do you believe, based on that information in the petition, that active efforts were in fact made and also that they were culturally appropriate?
Yes.
In your opinion, based on the petition, do you believe that they were successful?
Yes.
And so is it your opinion that removal is or is not necessary to prevent further physical or emotional harm to the child?
Removal is necessary.
And do you believe that at this time, the appropriate placement would be a licensed foster care home?
Yes.
Do you have any recommendations regarding placement moving forward?
No.
Is there anything that you believe I missed asking you that you would like to state for the record on behalf of the tribe as relates to this matter?
No.
And at this point, do you, are you confirming whether or not the tribe is in fact intervening in this matter?
Say that again.
With your presence here today, is that confirmation that the tribe is intervening in this matter? Or is it simply to get more information?
We need more information before we intervene.
And to clarify, but at this point, the tribe has no objection to removal.
No objection.
Thank you. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
If this child were removed and placed in foster care, what would be necessary to be culturally sensitive to the ancestry and Native American background?
I don't understand that.
Well, my guess is that there are no members of your tribe here in Michigan to place the child with. So if the child was going to be placed with a, let's say, a non-native family, what would be culturally appropriate for this child in that environment?
If the father doesn't object, the father is eligible for tribal enrollment also. Then the child can remain.
Do you know anything about the background history of the father?
No, I don't.
And so my question specifically to you is, if the child were to be placed in a foster care home in Michigan, anything that we need to do to be culturally sensitive of the ancestry or history or practices or culture?
I don't know how to answer that.
Well, the only reason I'm asking is you testified before that you testified as far as the culture of your tribe. And I didn't know whether you have any position on what would be appropriate in keeping with the culture of your tribe if this child was placed with a non-tribal member.
I believe the child living in Michigan, she's not going to know our culture unless information is sent to her. Does that answer your question?
I suppose. You indicate that your position is this child should be removed. What
According,
is there any? You said that your position is that this child should be removed from the mother, correct?
yes,
What particular fact do you believe to be true for the child to be removed from the mother?
I read the cause of removal and believe that there was neglect.
What was the specific neglect, if I can ask?
The report only stated neglect.
So you don't know what that particularly means then? Is that correct? I'm just trying to understand you correctly.
No,
No means you don't know what the neglect means. Am I accurate?
The report just stated that there was neglect.
What do you believe neglect to be?
It also stated that a parent was not in a home.
Did you hear the testimony that the department put her up in a hotel?
No, I didn't.
Did you hear the testimony that there's going to be continued payment for the hotel based upon what the worker testified?
No, I didn't.
If the worker testified to that, which I believe everybody heard, would you think that she's still homeless if they're putting her up?
If they're putting her up, then she's not homeless.
Okay. Might that alter your opinion if there's neglect?
Yes, it would.
Okay. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
That's nice.
Thank you. Do you believe that if this child stays in the custody of her mother, that there is a likely to result a risk of harm?
If she's not in the shelter and living on the streets, I believe there would be harm.
Okay, the paperwork that you're referring to, what is the title? Are you looking at a petition?
I have a petition in front of me.
How many pages long is your petition?
Your Honor, I guess I'm objecting. I guess the reason why I'm objecting is she's testified today that she's not testifying on behalf of the tribe, that she's here to get information and that she has to approach the tribe to see if they're going to intervene. So how can she testify as an expert if she's not officially here testifying for the tribe? She's just to gather information. If that's what she testified.
Today, I think we're here just to make sure that she believes active efforts have been executed on behalf of the child and that the continued custody is not in the best interest. Then she'll take it to the tribal meeting and they will decide if they're going to intervene. But we have to have a qualified expert witness at prelim just to get over the hump to make sure we've done active efforts before we remove a child and that removal is in the best interest of the child. I believe.
Maybe I can just forward you here on one question, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland, I've already declared that she is a qualified expert witness. So I'm going to overrule the objection. Ms.
Sure.
Tice, you may have to restate your question.
Oh, thank you. So you have some background on this case and you said that what you have is a petition that you've looked at. How many pages long is your petition?
3.
I think you're missing some of the documents.
Your Honor, I would move that we adjourn until she gets proper notice, which would mean the entire petition, as she indicates she only has 3 pages.
I went back
Wow.
through the file and, excuse me, I have 5 pages.
5 additional pages or 5 total?
5 total.
All right. What is the title of the, after your petition, 3 pages, what is your next page titled?
Addendum to petition for protective custody and jurisdiction as to respondent.
Thank you. And with respect to that document, are you able to see paragraph? Have you reviewed this document?
Not completely.
Would you like more time to look at it and testify at a later date?
I would.
Okay. If that is what we'd like to do, the next available time I have within the next 14 days, Ms. Heiss will be remote to us this day, but I have the 12th. in the morning. And I apologize, I'm not sure whether or not you have a time change where you're at, Ms. Gavin, but for us, it would be 10 a.m. on Tuesday, the 12th. Does that give you enough time? Would that give you enough time to have a look at it?
That would give me enough time, but with the time difference, that would be, I believe, 6 o'clock in the morning for me.
Okay, so, well, I can try to move some things around so that Wednesday, the 13th at 1:30, we could do that. That would put it a little further into your morning, I hope.
Okay.
Would that work for everyone else?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm happy to make those accommodations. It's very important to have our qualified expert witness have the opportunity to review all the information in this case. Any objections or other issues? The removal order will remain in full force and effect until we come back on the 13th. Frankly, hopefully by then we'll have more information about what's happening with the respondent father in this case as well, and whether or not he's going to be able to provide a home for the child. That will obviously have some very practical implications as well for us moving forward, considering the fact that his residency is not in the state of Michigan either. So we have some serious procedural and practical issues in this case, and I will leave it to the department and our hopefully tribe will be able to weigh in and help as they see fit. In determining the best way forward as it relates to this child. To conclude the hearing on the preliminary removal request in this case, we had adjourned at the request of the representative for the tribe to allow her some additional time to review the pleadings in the case. We were happy to do, and we have reconvened. May I have the names of our participants, please, beginning with our guardian ad litem? Oh, you know what? She might be in a breakout room, So let's begin with, as we wait for her to return from the breakout room, let's start with Mr. Amadeo.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. William Amadeo, P76194. On behalf of the department, I consent and appreciate the opportunity to be here via Zoom. My worker is present. Cameron, please state your name for Judge Sala.
Yes, Cameron Cusick, representative for the department.
Michael McFarland, representing Mother, and I was not placed in a breakout room with my client, Your Honor.
All right, yep, we'll get to that in a moment. Ms. Carla Collier, can you hear us? Could you please give us your name for the record?
My name is, yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor, I'm here. Carla Collier.
Thank you, thank you. All right, Ms. Heiss.
Lee Heiss, lawyer guardian ad litem.
And we also have Mr. Sean Thomas with us. Welcome.
Yes, this is Sean Thomas.
Thank you. All right, well, do we have a representative from the tribe?
Morning, this is Frederica Gavin, Native Village of Buckland.
Thank you. That makes perfect sense. Okay. I think that's it. So let's start with you, Ms. Gavin. When we left off, you were testifying as it relates to your opinion on the request filed by the department for removal and from a qualified Native American tribe expert opinion. Do you recall that?
I do.
Okay. Ms. Gavin, are you prepared to continue your testimony today?
Your Honor, I contacted Jill Heilman and spoke with her about being excused as a cultural expert because I am related to the grandmother on this case.
And Your Honor, maybe more appropriate if we have a brief sidebar. I got some information today from my workers, and there was some confusion as the tribe had a power outage yesterday. I could make a record, or if we want a brief sidebar, I could do that.
Ms. Gavin, And perhaps you know the answer to this, Mr. Amadeo, but will you have anyone else that will want to weigh in then for the tribe?
I have spoken with the president of our tribe, and he is willing to step in as a cultural expert. I did give him the call-in number, but he's having trouble calling in right now.
All right. Well, I guess what we'll do then is we will take an opportunity for a brief sidebar so the attorneys can perhaps catch each other up on any other formalities, and we'll come back together in a few minutes, and that will give him some time to try that. And we can also verify the contact information with you as well.